Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you are doing wonderful. I wanted to pop on to talk about a couple of things. I was cleaning the house a bit. This is my cleaning house hair, so don't mind the poof. But I wanted to talk about the current energies and also a new gift that had presented itself and how that works and how you figure it out, all that kind of stuff. So first, let's start with the energies. Time is a lot faster now, and it seems like you can have this feeling of being overwhelmed or being bombarded by a lot of different things coming in different directions. Something happening with your home, things that need to be fixed, then relationship stuff, and then personal stuff coming up. So you feel like you're kind of being bombarded from different directions. As soon as you start trying to focus on this, wha-bam, something else comes forward and presents itself. But please understand that the universe gives us tests. And as humans, we tend to think of a test as a pass or a fail. It is not this way in spirit. A test from spirit is, are we ready to jump to the next vibrational frequency and level? Also called densities. They're called the higher densities or realms or vibrations. Or is there more shadow work we need to do, more work on the self before we go ahead and rise to the next frequency, to the higher vibration? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, knowing that you can, being able to meditate opens up that gateway to be able to speak to spirit and have spirit be able to speak with you as well. You have that window that's open. So you're knowing what you need to work on with yourself. So emotions are a very valuable tool because you can tell by your emotions how you're reacting to things, how you're feeling about things. Oh, okay, I'm very low vibrational in the way I'm reacting to this. I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm sad. What do I need to learn? What do I need to know about these emotions? And then you discover more about yourself, more aspects of yourself that you need to work on. But it is definitely ramping up right now. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by a lot of things happening, it's because time is speeding up and there's a lot going on. Manifestations coming to fruition. It's really ramping up. It's really actually very exciting. I am going to be doing a Law of Attraction Masterclass this month, February 21st, which is a Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you follow my Facebook at Infinite Heart and Soul, you can go to infiniteheartandsoul.com, my website, and I will be posting the link everywhere. It is a Zoom link for you to be able to come on live with me, and I'm going to do the masterclass and then open it up for questions as well. So, but a lot is coming forward. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the year of the tiger as well. So we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this. So if you're feeling it right now and you're like, Kristen, what are you talking about, girl? Like, I'm feeling it. It does not feel like, prosperity and abundance and all of that. Hang in there. Hang in there. Join me at my masterclass so I can teach you for free how to navigate these energies. I know this because I've done it. I'm going to be sharing very personal experiences so you understand my perspective and where I'm coming from. And I never thought I would teach a Law of Attraction masterclass. I just never thought I would, but I learned from my guides. They specifically taught me. Horus was the first to present himself to me and start teaching me how to manifest. And then the rest of my guides came forward. So this is a whole journey. We're here for a reason, right? We're here on Earth School to learn how to navigate the ego. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So this is about navigating the ego. And when you navigate it beautifully, it doesn't always feel that beautiful when you're doing it. So I hope you'll join me on February 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Look out for that link. I will go ahead and add the link on the bottom of this video. And you can also message me as well. I will have my email below to email me. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below because I can always do other videos to answer your questions and things like that. So new gifts presenting themselves. So you can be a medium, an animal communicator, a healer. I am attuned to Kundalini Reiki. We are all natural healers are in our own right as well. You do not need to be attuned to things. I had a specific calling to Kundalini Reiki. It found me. So, because it is not something that is very common as Kundalini Reiki, Earth Reiki, Practical Reiki, or some of the names that it is being called. But it found me, and I use it with everything that I do. So I had something happen to me. This was a while ago, and I wasn't understanding it. So my Uncle Tony and Uncle Richard are still alive. This was many months ago, probably more than 8 months ago. One night, I woke up to the very strong, potent smell of cologne. And I knew instantly that it was my Uncle Tony. He wears a very specific cologne. I knew it was him. I could feel his energy. And I was very confused. I got very in my ego because I'm going, he hasn't passed. And I was so confused. So I called my mom the next day and said, can we chat on FaceTime, because something's happening and I'm able to practice on my family, specifically my mom. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Because it is so much easier. You always want to practice when you're doing channeling and pulling cards and all that kind of stuff. Practice on people you don't know, because you don't know them. So you're able to validate so much. But also practice on people you do know. Because when my husband and I have known one another since we were 13 years old, we're high school sweethearts. And when I do readings for him, I always tell Spirit, you got to give me good stuff, because I know I'm awfully well, so you have to give me validating evidence. So the validating evidence I get is so awesome that we need to validate it with my mother-in-law. And she's like, yep, that's right. And Ray and I had no idea. Things that we thought to be true that turned out to be something different, and she's able to validate all of that. So it's really awesome to be able to have certain individuals that you know that you're able to practice on without judgment. Like you don't know what you're talking about or anything like that. It's all without judgment, because these are spiritual gifts. We have these human senses. We have psychic senses. And I had once read this response. It was a random person's channel that I was watching, and I happened to look at someone's comment on the bottom. And a lot of us will say, when we say something, we'll say, does that make sense to you? That's what you're supposed to really say to a sitter. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you? Do you understand that? And the person actually wrote in the comments is, if you were really a psychic, you would know that it makes sense and you wouldn't ask that. But this journey is so unique. We're getting impressions. Sometimes I'm specifically told, they flat out tell me in my ear, which is easy because they're telling me and I can just spit it back out. Or they're showing me the clairvoyance that comes through for me. When I see something, I know it to be true and I tell them. But when you're feeling and you're knowing, this is about trusting the self. This is why working on yourself is so valuable, because you have to pull the ego back and allow this energy, your true self, to come forward without your ego like, that's wrong. What are you talking about? You don't know how to do this. All the stuff that the ego likes to say. So, that's why meditation is so important. It opens up that window. It's allowing you to adjust those brain waves into more theta, things like that. So that was a long explanation. Hope you're following me. So I called my mom and said, can we do FaceTime, because something happened and I need to figure out what the heck this is. It felt like mediumship. There's a certain vibration or feeling that you get when your guides come forward. I can feel them come forward. I know that it's them, and I'm able to say, okay, the guides are coming forward. They have things they want to say, and then, oh, someone's here. is this male? Is this female? And then I'm able to, some people are like, hey, I'm here. And they'll say their name and I can see what they look like and all that kind of stuff. It depends on the person. Just like we all have personalities, they all have personalities on the other side. And please understand, as a side note, the other side isn't the other side way out there. It's like right here. It's right here, here and now, right there, right here. There is a veil in front of us. I've seen it. Merlin punctured that veil. It's right here. They are all right here, all around us, all the time. Okay, moving on from that side note. When I was talking to my mom and I said, it feels like mediumship, but Uncle Tony's alive. I smelt his cologne so strongly. Every time I would wake up during that night, he was there. I've never had a spirit be with me for that long, like all through the night. And I was so confused. And I finally was, when I was talking to my mom, she told me, this is the cologne, all that kind of stuff. I actually went to Walmart to smell the cologne and it was definitely his, just to be sure. It's called Copenhagen. Went to Walmart to smell the cologne and it was 100% Uncle Tony. But I knew it was him because I could feel his energy. It's a certain frequency and you just know who it is. But when I sat with my mom, I set the intention to connect with my Uncle Tony. And my mom started asking questions and Tony was answering. Now, my Uncle Tony has dementia. So this is all, please understand that this is my experience. And that's how I teach, is through my experience. It is not one size fits all. There are differences that occur that other people work with the energies. This is my take and this is what I specifically do. It is my knowing that when you have dementia, you are between worlds. So being out of the body, that's why you kind of seem like a shell when you're trying to talk with them or work with the person having dementia. Can seem like a shell. So someone in a coma and everything as well, this is true for them too. I have channeled another family member as well who has dementia. Someone that I do not know at all and is a cousin of my mother's. So, and she was able to speak to her cousin's daughter to get the validation of things. But with my uncle, I was able to answer my mom's questions, and he had given us a heads up that something was going to happen to my Uncle Richard. And then within a short time frame, I'm going to say a couple of weeks, my Uncle Richard wound up going to the hospital, and it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. Hospice was involved. It was nuts. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what Uncle Tony was telling us about. So I was understanding how I was interpreting the messages. So it's learning how you as an individual being are interpreting the information, because you and I could be channeling the same person and get the same things totally different ways. You might get, because they're using the information in your head to bring forward how you will understand the information. Okay. And my Uncle Tony is, the smells were involved. I could smell his cologne, and he was very chatty, and he is a very gabby person. So that's how I was able to, it was the claircognizance, the knowing, the hearing, and the smell that came through with Uncle Tony. So I was able to understand, oh my gosh, I can communicate with people that have dementia or are in comas. And then I sat back and Spirit's like, well, of course, everyone and everything is energy. You can communicate with anyone. We are telepaths. We are telepaths. So communicating with animals with that intention to be able to communicate with them, asking for validating evidence so you know beyond a doubt that it's them, and then bringing forward a message, communicating with people again with dementia are in comas, mediumship people who have actually crossed over, speaking with spirit guides and galactics, all of that, the elemental realm, God, Gaia, they're all energies, and you can communicate with absolutely anyone and anything. A blade of grass, when you go outside, you can communicate with anything. So, I go to an acupuncturist, and he has this amazing chakra bed in the back room. So I booked the chakra bed, and I went back there. This was a couple of days ago now. So Uncle Richard and Uncle Tony, as far as I knew, were still doing good. This was many months ago that this occurred. But Uncle Tony was like kind of warning us that something was happening. Everything's going to be okay. Talking about my dad, concerned about my dad, so he doesn't get himself too overwhelmed and upset, things like that. So a couple of days ago, I was on the chakra bed, and I felt my Uncle Richard come through. And Uncle Richard and Uncle Tony are together in a nursing home. They are best of friends for so many years. I've known them. Uncle Richard is my dad's brother, and Uncle Tony is his best friend. And it's always the both of them. A couple different things happened. I'm just remembering. The spirit is telling me. So, on the chakra bed, I felt Uncle Richard. I knew it was Uncle Richard. He came forward. He was on the right. And I said, I was just dumbfounded. And I actually heard achoo. He said achoo. And I'm going, what in the world does that mean? I don't understand. I got too much in my ego mind. And then I went, oh, what is achoo? And then he said gesundheit. So he was telling a joke. And I started laughing as I was laying by myself in this room on the chakra bed. So I talked to Mom, and I'm like, I knew it was Uncle Richard. And every time I would see Uncle Richard, it was, he wasn't, I don't remember him joking or anything like that. It was more serious stuff, and talked about his life and the war and all that kind of stuff, things that he did. And when I was talking to Mom, she goes, that is 100% your uncle. He says jokes like that. So I thought that was amazing that Mom was able to validate for me that that was my Uncle Richard that came forward. He has dementia, and he is going in and out a lot. Now, this was a couple days ago, so let's say like 4 days ago now, before even going on the chakra bed, because the guides just reminded me, I had a dream. I could see my dad. It was my dad, human. I could see him and hug him. But I was also talking with my Uncle Richard and Uncle Tony. They were not physically there, but it felt like they were. I was communicating with their consciousness. It was 100% them. I can't describe it anything else, but I was speaking with their energy, and it was like seeing them in human form, even though I didn't see them in human form. Does that make sense? Energy is so real, and because I was in the astral, because I was in this dream world in another realm, my energy was able to just communicate as we communicate when we're on the other side and all together. I knew it to be them. It was definitely their essence, and it didn't matter that the body wasn't there because it was them. But they were just saying many different things, and they were hugging me, and it was just very sweet and kind. And then when I spoke to my dad, and he's like, yeah, Richard's not doing too great. I noticed that he's out of it a lot more, and he said all these different things. So this is why they've been popping in a lot more lately, is because they've been out of it a lot more. And giving some messages, things like that. But this is a gift that I totally got anxiety with, because I didn't understand what it was. It's like, well, this isn't mediumship, but it has the energetic signature of that. When you do this consistently, feel what it's like when you are channeling mediumship, animal communication, guides, when you're, doing messages and things like that. there's a certain energetic signature that you will feel and understand. So when the energies come forward and present itself, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to be talking to guides right now because I feel they're coming forward. Your guides are coming forward. So let me know if that makes sense, because this felt like mediumship, but it wasn't. It was something different. And I'm able to speak with, because the higher self is the all-knowing us in spirit that is closest with God's source. So the higher self is us having this human experience and on this journey to remember who we are, what we can do, and all of that, and what the purpose of this life is. So when I'm speaking to someone, but they're, how do I word it? They're more of their ego self. So speaking to someone's ego, who is going back and forth. They haven't gone, like when you have dementia, you're able to come and visit and speak to a person, but you haven't crossed over and had your life review and things like that. You're still you, but in spirit and communicating that way. So I can speak to my Uncle Tony, but then I can also ask Uncle Tony's higher self for clarity. So what is? Because Uncle Tony can tell me he's not in any pain. He's very happy and happy-go-lucky and kind of goes with the flow. And that's exactly what my parents say, is he's just always happy and everything is good. And he's not mad or upset or has issues. But when I tap into the higher self can validate things. So you can see how the person is actually feeling in their physical body as a human by communicating with them, because they can tell you this hurts, that hurts, or whatever, even though they can't verbally communicate with you. That ego can when you channel them. And then you can connect to the higher self and get more of that higher vibrational perspective of your loved one, of that individual. Is there anything that I can do? Is there, any questions that you might have? So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it makes sense and you understand. But I wanted to come on and explain that, because as we grow, okay, so the guides are very much forward. And they're telling me that this energy is in 2022. I'm feeling pressure in my right ear right now. So if you're feeling some pressure, things like that, there's a lot of stuff going on. Gifts are morphing and changing. We are limitless beings and we can do many, many things. You can choose to just be a medium, just be a healer, or be both. But there's so much that we can do. I happen to do a lot of different things. And it was always a subconscious belief of mine that there's a phrase, and it is jack of all trades, master of nothing. So, you hear about you're a jack of all trades, but you don't master in anything. Like, you're not 100% good at everything. And that is a belief I needed to dissolve. And know that, no, I'm really into all of these things. I know things that I'm not into, and that's okay to not have, not be everything. But you can be a lot of different things and have a lot of different gifts open and present itself. So I have a lot of things that's starting to present itself more and more and more. So when you really start diving into your gifts, because a lot of people, you might be a feeler and a knower, and you're like, I want to be a clairvoyant. I want to see. And that was always me as well, because all of my gifts opened, then they all shut down, and the knowing and the feeling came out first, because I had to learn to trust myself. That was the point of them doing that. And then as I started trusting myself more, everything else opened back up. So I can see and hear as well. Smell and taste come occasionally when warranted by that spirit, by that guide. So when you own the gifts you have, and you're not we whine about it. Let's face it. I was whining about mine. I want to be clairvoyant. I want to be able to see. That's so much easier, you know, that kind of thing. It's just like if you have straight hair, you want curly and vice versa, right? So same thing with gifts. Whatever you have, you want the other stuff that you don't have. But when you really dive into and love the gifts that you have, you discover really these superpowers that you have. It's not just the channeling, it's so much more. So the other thing that presented itself is I've had a dream for a very long time, since I was little, and I call it the squishy caterpillar because I can't see anything, but I wake up feeling a lot. I can feel this energy, and it feels like a big fat caterpillar, like it's squishy. The energy is squishy. It's the only way I can describe it. Well, I was channeling with a friend fairly recently, and the beings that I was channeling had me have that feeling as I was channeling, as I was awake and aware. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is from my dream. Oh my gosh. And they were explaining to me that I'm traveling through the densities. That's where I get the word densities, because densities to them means vibrational realms. So I travel through the densities, and I can feel the densities while I'm awake now. So I can feel the higher and the lower vibrational beings. So I can feel the realms, if that makes sense. So the thicker it is, the squishier type of caterpillar thing are the very high realms, where it feels like it's very thick. It's a certain kind of feeling. When you go into a place and it's has like bad juju, like you don't feel good energies in there, that's like a different kind of texture in the energy. So it's feeling into energies of a room is different than going into different densities. And I could actually see in my mind's eye, they were taking me through different tunnels or portals, because I could see circle. It was like going through tunnels, and they were different colors, different morphing of different colors. It was really interesting. But that's something I had no idea. I've just had these series of dreams my entire life, and I never understood what they were. But I knew the sensation of it, because when I would wake up, I'm like, oh, there's that squishy caterpillar type of feeling. It's just a whole lot of feeling. The energy has a texture. The vibration, the realm has a texture. It's the only way I can describe it, and I can feel it. So, but I also bilocate, so I'm able to go into other realms. They'll take me there, and I can feel the densities of it, so I can tell by feeling this is high vibrational, you know, that type of thing. I always call in my guides, things like that. It's just, I hope all of that makes sense. There's a whole lot in this 27 minutes as I'm looking at it, but one thing leads to another, so there's a reason I call it psychic ramble, because you have to allow yourself to speak, and speak freely. I used to want to do, you know, bullet points and be able to talk about certain topics, and sometimes that's the way it is, but spirit totally leads me. That's how I function. I just channel. Like when I do my channeling classes, it's not like I have the whole 7-week courses done before I start the class. No, I get it each week. Sometimes it's the day before, and the day of, they give me more stuff to complete what the course is going to be for that day. So, and this is my 3rd round of it, and they've had so much stuff to bring through, but it's not just my guides, it's yours. It's the students that are in the class, their guides coming forward with mine to be able to teach what everybody needs to know at this time. So the cool thing too is I'm learning as well. So I'm getting the downloads, new things are presenting themselves. So I'm feeling a lot of heat now. So I just got like this rush of energy that came through. But I hope that makes sense. And understand, if you're one that has anxiety, which I had anxiety. I have anxiety as well. Nothing like it was before. It really ruled my world, and I was able to navigate that through this journey of self-love and self-discovery. But when I get anxiety, it's a new guide is presenting itself, and I could feel a certain shift in the energy, and something happens in my neck, where energy shoots up my neck. Then I know this is a new guide that's coming forward. I'm getting like a third eye pain right now too. So if you're getting a third eye pain, I'm feeling yours. That and I'm getting it in the right ear, like just more energy in the right ear than the left ear, if that makes sense. But it's about discovering and being really in tune with yourself. When you observe yourself and you're not in it, you're able to witness. That's one thing that the guides say, is not just observing, you're witnessing yourself. So even though you're going through the motions and you're having these experiences, you're also able to witness yourself, observing yourself, going through these things, and you're able to say, oh, I'm feeling this. It sounds like there's a whole lot of stuff we can do all at once. I promise you. It sounds like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? That's so much stuff. But you can observe yourself while you're in the middle of something and be able to navigate it from a higher perspective. So it's really interesting when things start happening. Like I had a pain in my lower back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And my ego is like, oh, this pain. Oh my gosh, that hurts. It hurts so bad. And the guides came in and said, where is this pain? They ask questions, which I love when they do that, because you're channeling, because they're having you think, where's the pain at? I'm like, it's in my back. Oh, it's in my back sacral chakra. So I'm processing emotional stuff. All these things wanted to leave. And it made sense because things that had occurred a couple of days prior, I was clearing through a lot of stuff. So it was these emotions and these past beliefs that were finally releasing themselves, because the back chakras are past this life and past lives, where the front is current and future. So I mean, just all of a sudden I had this, lower back pain in the sacral chakra, and the guide swooped in and said, where do you feel that pain? Where is it? And I'm like, my lower back. Oh, and it was like a light bulb moment. It's my back sacral chakra. Oh my gosh. And then they showed me all these series of events that occurred prior to, because I don't want to say passed the test, because there's no pass or fail, but because I did pass the test, I was able to upgrade to higher frequencies, and that's how it works. So, and the pain occurred the morning of my class. So when I went to class, I was able to tell everybody what was happening. So when you're able to witness and observe yourself, you're able to navigate things better, because aches and pains and different ascension feelings that you're feeling, you're able to say, oh, I'm having more ascension symptoms. Because it's not just you have an awakening and then boom, I'm awake. Okay, I'm good. I went through all these ascension symptoms. I'm going to tell you, it's a roller coaster. We have ascension symptoms, and then we, go through all of this, we process things, and we have like all this magic stuff. And then there's like this lull of the energies, because your body is processing and all of that. So it's like this wave is the way that the guides always show me. So we go through constant awakenings. We go through constant ascension symptoms, because our body, we have all of these energetic bodies, right? This is our physical body, but we have, the emotional body, things like that. So all of our energetic bodies are raising the frequency. The physical body feels it. So your eyes are watering, you get the headaches, the third eye headaches, the aches, the pains, all that kind of stuff. So the physical body is amping up, and it feels like crap. It's the only way I can say it. It really does. It doesn't feel so hot, because you feel like you have the flu. So you learn to navigate it a lot better. So when I understand what I'm having, I'm like, oh, okay. So I meditate a bit more, ask the guides to assist me. I turn my Reiki on for myself. I ask, what is it that I need to eat? And there are certain things. Usually they tell me, like one of the little cuties, it's a little tangerine. In Florida, we call them halos or cuties. I always have them on hand. So cuties and chocolate really help me. Specifically a chunky bar, because a chunky bar has the peanuts and the raisins in it, and I'll have like a little square of a chunky bar. But the guys will say, time to have a chunky bar. And it's so weird because when you're nauseous, the last thing is that you want, or that we're told to eat, is anything acidic, like a little cutie. And the guys are like, nope, you need a cutie. So I'll eat a cutie, and like that, I feel better. So notice what you're intuitively being told to eat. Maybe you need to drink more water. Maybe it's more tea, a certain kind of tea. So notice what your team is advising you to do through your intuition, through your gifts, through your cravings. So you're smarter than you realize. It's just trusting yourself that you can do all of this. Well, I'm looking at the time and it's 35 minutes, and I always say I'm going to have a short video. I think it's like impossible for me to have a short video. That's why I rarely do TikTok videos, because it's 3 minutes on there, people. I have a lot to say. We got a lot. There's a lot that needs to come out. So I hope this video was helpful. Please remember, if you are interested, if you can share the information, this free Law of Attraction Masterclass, that will be on February 21st, which is a Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will share the link below, the Zoom link. I also sharing it on my Infinite Heart and Soul page on Facebook, and you can also look on my website, Infinite Heart and Soul. So I hope this helped on your journey. I hope it all makes sense, because I don't edit my videos or anything. I just spill it and put it. That's my tactic, people. So not high techie at all. So I hope this was helpful. You all be well, and I hope to see you on February 21st, but I'll be back with more videos. Take care. Bye.